The 3D tools in Flash enable you to manipulate artwork in 3D space. Now, this doesn't actually make the artwork three-dimensional. It just gives you a three-dimensional effect, kind of like if you were moving a piece of paper around in 3D space. So it doesn't have actual 3 dimensions. So let's take a look at this bridge on the stage. If I select it, you'll see that it's a group. And you don't need to have a group. You can actually start with a shape if you'd like. But I have my grouped bridge here. And then in order to manipulate an object in 3D space, you need to convert it to a movie clip. That's something called a symbol. And we'll talk about symbols and movie clips in another movie. So to convert this to a symbol, you can go to Modify, Convert to Symbol. Notice that the keyboard shortcut is F8. So for the type, I'm going to choose movie clip. And that's all I'm going to do for now. And I'll click OK. And now I have this movie clip symbol. And when I change it to a movie clip, it went in front of everything else. So I'm actually going to move it back by going to Modify, Arrange, Send Backward. And I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut after this to make sure the bridge is behind the girl. All right, now let's manipulate this object in 3D space. The 3D tools are in the toolbar right below the Free Transform tool. And there's the 3D Translation tool and the 3D Rotation tool. So I'll use the 3D Rotation tool first. So with the 3D Rotation tool, you have the different axes. There's the X, Y, and Z axes. So the Y axis is up and down, the X axis is left and right, and the Z axis goes into and out of your screen, so closer and further back. So the way that we rotate this is the Y axis is actually the horizontal line here, so it's the green one, and you can remember which one represents which axis because X, Y, Z corresponds to RGB, so red, green, blue, X, Y, Z. Red is the X axis, green is the Y axis, and blue is the Z axis. So if I click and drag on the X axis, you'll see that the object rotates around the horizontal plane. And I'm actually moving my mouse in a circular motion to rotate it. Now I'm going to undo that change, and we'll rotate along the Y axis this time. So I'm going to click and drag on that green line that represents the Y axis, and it's going to rotate around the Y axis. Again, I'm moving my mouse in a circular motion to get the rotation. I'll undo that change. And the Z axis basically gives you regular rotation. So this is the same kind of rotation you'd get with the Free Transform tool. And you'll notice the outer orange circle actually works with all of the axes at the same time. So I can click and drag that one, and I can move the bridge like so, and I've rotated the bridge to give a perspective view. Another tool is the 3D Translation tool. So I'll select that in the Properties panel, and this allows you to move an object in 3D space. So I can move it along the X-axis, that's the red arrow. On the Y-axis, that's the green arrow. And on the Z-axis, which is the blue arrow. So I can click and drag to move it forward and back. I'll undo. And one more thing you need to know about the 3D tools is that you can adjust your 3D settings in the Properties panel. So if you have a 3D object selected and it has to be a movie clip, you can expand the 3D position and view settings in the Properties panel to adjust the 3D position. Now, of course, there's X, Y, and Z positioning, width, and height. And then you have the camera angle. This is the perspective angle. And so if I click and drag this setting, I can move where the quote-unquote camera is. Again, this is not real 3D. This is Flash mimicked 3D. And then finally, I can adjust the vanishing point. So I can click and drag the X and Y positions to adjust the vanishing point, put it wherever I want. I'll leave it right there. And then I can click the reset button to reset the vanishing point to the original setting. So using the 3D tools in Flash, you can move and rotate objects in 3D space.